Niz Racing NY presents the NASCAR Hammerdown Racing Cup Series. Tonight, HDRS heads to Charlotte Motor Speedway for a classic. We have a crown jewel race on our hands. Longest race of the year. They're going to give us a little bit of mercy. They're not going to go 100%, as of course in the Cup Series here at HDRS we do run 50%. So it'll be a 300-mile race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and boy, there is a lot on the line, as this will be the cutoff race before the playoffs begin for all three series. We had the Xfinity Series last night. Truck Series will be tomorrow, but tonight HDRS is best of the best. Vie for that, try to battle for that spot, or those 12 spots. There are 16 drivers who have accumulated points this year. 12 of them will move on to race in the playoffs, and one of them, of course, will be crowned champion come January. So let's try to set the table here, as we are currently waiting for qualifying to get underway. We'll get or actually I believe they did qualifying a few nights ago. So right now we're just getting ready. The cars are on the grid, just waiting for the drivers meeting and all that stuff, and we'll be ready to go here hopefully shortly. So Charlotte Motor Speedway, you talk to a lot of drivers, and I feel as though this is a lot of drivers' favorite tracks. This is a driver's track. It's fast, it's slick, it's tight. It's like I said, the longest race of the year. And the track, I mentioned it's tight. Might look pretty wide. Looks like a kind of a standard size for a 1.5-mile track. But I tell you what, the track is so fast. There's so much speed through these corners. There is not as much room through these corners as it might look. So it's really, like I said, a driver's track. You know, these guys, in order to be competitive, your car is going to have to be teetering. We say it a lot here, but it's going to have to be teetering on the edge of just out of control, pretty much. So stability you want, it's a factor. Attrition is a factor, making those tires last. But we got a lot of fast guys, as always, here in this Cup Series, and I'm really excited to get this race going. I don't think I'm going to have any help here in the booth tonight. Hopefully somebody maybe surprises me and bails me out. So bear with me, audience, as I try to get us through this night on my own. First time doing this solo, so I'm going to give it my best shot. So we talked about the track a little. We'll get back to that, talk a little more about it. Let's talk about the point situation right now. Like I said, 16 drivers. I believe there's more drivers who may have accumulated points, but what we have for the official standings are 16 drivers. 12 of them are going to make it, and it's like I said, it'll be decided tonight which 12 are going to be in. You got the top 5 are locked in already. No Surprise, Dark Knight, Death Before Dishonor, May Dale Be With You, your top 3. And then you got Silenced and Tune rounding out those 4th and 5th spots in the standings. And then behind that are the guys that are pretty much, not pretty much, but are still undecided. They still got to have a good night, and then we'll get there. Right now, let's go 6 through 10. We got Dunlap in 6. He's 29 points out of first place, I believe. That is not, he's 29 points behind 5th place. We got KSJ 7th, Hothead 8th, Biker 9th, Pile 10th, Visceral Killer is 11th, and Travesty Son is 12th. And then those guys who right now are on the outside looking in, we have Stag, Frankenstein, Jared, and Sniper. Interesting, I look at that and I see those top 2, Stag and Frank. Frank, a bit of a question mark. I believe I have a source telling me he isn't racing tonight, so that would pretty much, not pretty much, that would obviously end his championship hopes if he doesn't start the race. And Stag is 20 points behind the cut line. We know Stag has a pretty busy schedule, or at least since I've been here, it seems like he's, I think he's in tonight's race, but the point I'm trying to make is, if he starts, that is the guy to watch, I believe. Jared, 61 points out. He's going to need a really, really great run. And Sniper, haven't seen him race much this year, returning, I believe, last week, maybe a couple weeks ago. Also, but here's the thing. a win and you're in. That's how these playoff formats work. So, you know, I tell you one thing. Tonight's race is going to be exciting. These guys, every race is exciting, but there's a little bit of anticipation for this one. Because, guys, this is it. If you don't do what you got to do tonight, you might not get in. Now I ran out of things to say. So, you know what? I'm going to take a fake commercial break here for a minute. I'm going to try to gather myself, and I'll be back in about, let's say, a minute and a half. Back here on Niz Racing NY, the HDRS Cup Series, getting ready to go here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. And it looks like we're getting close to race time here. And just taking a look here real quick at the daily fastest lap here on NASCAR Heat 5, we have Dunlap up there with a 29.1. Interesting to see if anybody gets, maybe on a first lap after restart, a little faster than that. I have heard through the grapevine that guys have been running 29 flats in practice. Interesting to see this daily leaderboard, though. Dunlap with a big advantage over the next HDRS guy. Oh, never mind. I missed Dark Knight. He's up there in third. So yeah, Dark Knight is in third on the leaderboard here, and this is just fastest laps on the day. I'm guessing all these, well, not guessing, these guys all ran these laps in practice. You see 8th and 9th place, Maydale and Hot Nuts with 29.3s. And I believe we're going to get ready to go racing here, so I might be off the hook trying to kill some time, see if I can get some stream goings, get some driver audio here. Like I said, this is a fun track. Try to give you, I'm not going to try to be Canute and give you all the, I would never disrespect him by trying to take his track facts away from him, but just to give you a little idea, Charlotte Motor Speedway, they call it America's home for racing, very close by. Pretty much all the major teams are located, have their shops in Charlotte or in the Charlotte area, and we are getting the message to join. It's a racing town. And like I said, it's just a really fun track to drive. And they're about to get going here for the Coke 600. Do not have a starting lineup, so we're just going to have to wing it here and see who's leading them to green. I tell you what, Dunlap with that fast lap, I wouldn't be surprised to see him up on the front row. But this whole Cup Series has been so... The 5 guys who are locked in have really... They've been the cream of the crop since I've gotten into... Since I've been watching these Cup races, which hasn't been long, but those guys have really been in a class of their own. But really, this whole field of Cup drivers, anything can happen, especially a race like this where it matters. Not that other races don't matter, but this one, obviously, with bigger consequences. We're going to go green here. Perfect time, and Dark Knight in with Maydale on the front row. There's Dunlap in third. Death Before Dishonor, I believe, is driving that 5 as they lead him into turn 1, and Dark Knight just not able to. Now he cleared the 22. See him come down this backstretch, too wide. And already, I mean, we've seen a lot of races recently where these guys get single file quick. They're not doing that here. This is a race. Right off the bat. Oh, trouble in the back. We got the 12. I believe that was the 21. Yeah, I think they got it together. 21's going to... Ooh, missed the wall. Now, big contact. Guys in the wall. I believe that was the 3, and there's the 3 into the wall hard, head on. And he took someone with him. I believe that was the 24. The 4, oh, that was the 4 car and the 3 there. We saw that 12 and 21 get, somebody got loose coming off of turn 4. That thing will just snap on you. It's very similar to Texas, although I think Texas is a little harder with that turn 4. They're going to stay green here. Thought we might see a manual caution as Dark Knight building a gap here on Maydale. Right along with Maydale. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, so Dark Knight, and here's the caution that we were expecting, I believe, as we see they're out of it. So Death got up to second while we were watching what was going on in the back. You ride with Maydale under this first caution of the night. I didn't want to jinx it, but I had a feeling that it might not take a while. And it hasn't. You see the 88. Ooh. Almost an issue there. 9 almost ran into the back of him. Take a look at Biker in that 1 true. He tried to block that 24 from sneaking in there. Maybe a little bit of, guys might have to calm down a little bit here. It seems like guys, like I said, are ready to go, and I do not blame them. Like, this is a track you got to be ready to go at, because like I said, it's fast, and if you're slow, too slow, and you don't, as we watch this mayhem that really doesn't mean anything here, but it's interesting to watch unfold. I see King Pile coming out. I tell you what, it's hard enough to announce, but to run through these cameras and try to get the right view is not as easy as it looks. See the 2 Hendrick cars there, the 9 of Reverend Hot Nuts next to Death for Dishonor. We saw Death, as we said, jump out to second place there. Always a fast car for that 5. Well, he has been running the 48, actually, but he's moved over to the 5. And it looks like those are our leaders. Maydale. Maydale. I think these guys just got to get it sorted out here. I don't think Maydale fell out of... We were just riding with him, unless they just restarted. So that was some type of quick yellow. And... no, now they're going to regroup again. Interesting little manual caution here. I don't know if it's because I'm watching and not really sure what's going on, or if that was a little out of the ordinary. Seemed like guys just took off, and there's Maydale now back into that. Looks like he's gonna... Every time I say it looks like then something different happens. I don't know. But it's gonna be Dark Knight. So he came out as the leader, came in as a leader, came out as a leader, and the 9 of Hot Nuts up there on the outside. We got Death in 3rd, Maydale in 4th. And King Pile in 5th with, I believe, Dunlap to his outside in 6th as they come into this restart zone here. And the 8 gets going. The 5 with a good jump right on his bumper. The 9, a slow start, holds up that top line, but the bottom line also, a Pile leading that bottom line did not... I tell you what, that 5 got a good restart. It looked... I couldn't really see where the restart zone was exactly, but it looked like Dark Knight just kind of hung in there until the very last second. And there's different ways to kind of time these restarts when you're behind the leader. And what Death did there just paid off perfectly, staying right on that bumper. That's a situation where he brings it to that last second, if I'm correct. That's just what you want to do. You want to be on him. You might see guys laying back if they think he might. I mean, it's all a guessing game anyway, but here you see Death getting on the back bumper of that 8 car for the lead, and he's going to take it low. But ducks back in line. Couldn't get under that left rear fender of the 8. But he is all over that back bumper as these 2 cars starting to pull away from the rest of the field, who pretty much single file here. Looks like May Dale going for a pass for 3rd, and he will get it from Reverend Hot Nuts. Now the 6, a tap to the back of that 9 car as he gets a run coming out of 2. Ride around with the 9 car here for a minute. Forgot to get my streams going. Get that, see if I can get some audio. Try to look at this line he's running here. A lot of throttle time here, but also you don't want to get into it. It's one of those tracks that'll fool you. So let's see what he does here. You're going to want to keep it right up on that wall like he does. And it seems like he's sort of feathering that, not feathering the throttle, but he's almost as you would at a road course. He's not flat-footing it right away. Sort of playing with it, easing into it. And that can help you a lot at this track. It's, what I was saying, I don't know if I finished saying it, but what I was trying to say is you can be fooled into thinking you got the grip and you're ready and exit, and then you'll just push right up to the wall, lose a lot of spots. So a lot of throttle time in the corners. However, got to be patient with it and not overdo it, because it's a very fine line. See Biker here running towards the back behind Dunlap. These cars looking like they're getting racy, led by the 24 of Travesty Son up there. The 12, I believe, is Canute. Oh, no, that would be Tongue Punch, filling in for Visceral Killer. And you got the 4 of Toon. And, the 12 through the grass, gets the wall. They're going to be 3 wide. No, Dunlap falls in behind. I think Dunlap had a chance to force the issue, but didn't. Could have been a big problem if he did, so as you see, the 12 is going to lose some spots here. Here's Canute. My broadcast man, Canute, abandoned me up here, left it all to my own. But, we're rooting for him. Well, I say we, and it's just me. I'm rooting for him, hoping to see him do good in that 21 Wood Brothers car. Stag, we saw him with that earlier trouble. Trying to make a move on that 42. Not trying to make a move, but working that 42, Jared. Ooh, looks like some contact here. Yeah, contact behind him. Dunlap in the 12, big contact. I don't know what happened there. It sounded like somebody was bouncing off each other, and then when we switched the camera angle, as you saw, those two bouncing around off each other back there. And now you see King Pile, ooh, into the wall, trying to get that side draft off the right rear of the 9 car. 9 car's been steady since we last saw him. It seems like he's been behind that 6. Pile was trying to take another spot from him right as we sort of tuned in there, but just pushed up a little and got that wall. Doesn't look like it really cost him much. Probably not a lot of damage, if any. Take a look back at our leaders. Death still right on that bumper of Dark. Wonder if, again, I gotta start getting these streams going here. It's hard to do a million things at once, but so that I can have another angle. Because now that I see him right on the bumper, I'm wondering if this is how it's been or if there was a move. So, trying to cover as much as we can here early, see what's going on through the field. Which is starting to get spread out here. I believe that's Dale in 3rd. Somebody goes through the grass back there. There is Dale. 5 gets into the wall. A lot of guys. Last night in the Xfinity race, guys were dealing with tight issues, if I remember correctly. I know I was. But earlier in the week in practices, it was a very loose track. So, really, from right now, I can't really call it. I don't know if guys are getting the wall because they're tight, loose, or just a bit of both. Or so here's that 8 car. leading the 5. Big gap between the 22 of Dale and 4th place of Dunlap. Unless... See, this is my gripe with this game, is when it says next driver, it should be going by position. But it doesn't. Pyle with a run here on the 6. And guys slowing down? No. Looks like the 6 just maybe got the wall, but he was running that high line on entry pretty nice, but then the 14 just took off on exit right by him. So the 9 has gotten back around the 6, and now the 14 following him. Trying to follow him. 9's got some distance on them now. And there's Travis Sutton starting to pull him in. So now we're getting a little bit of a run here. If this can stay going for some time, might be able to see what guys got. Who's got to do a lot of work and who's got it kind of dialed in. I mean, right now the front 2, no surprise, like every week they got it dialed in. Dark Knight and Death, as we were saying earlier, as I was saying earlier. And there's Dale closing in on him. These 3 guys, part of that cream of the crop, as I like to think of them. You only really see these guys in the middle or back of the pack if there's trouble that they get caught up in. Other than that, what you're seeing now, and it's kind of fitting, right? As I said in the opening of the show, this is a driver's track. It's a great track, great race to watch, to be in. It's just everything about Charlotte is just great racing. So it's pretty fitting, as you saw. Dark Knight must have got loose there coming out of the corner. And the 5's going to make a move up high, and Dale's going to try to go with him. Dark Knight's going to pit here. I'm going to guess, yeah, these are scheduled stops. The 9's in, the 14, the 6, the 24. All coming down for green flag pit stops here. And I still need to get a stream going so that I can get a lap count. And now I have a stream going. So about 29 remaining in stage 1 and the first green flag pit stops of the night. May Dale coming in now, giving up second to get his tires in Sunoco Racing Fuel. Eight's coming out, 9's coming out, 14 coming out. The 6 seems to be having a long, maybe not, he's coming out, just had that first pit stall, so it took him a while to get there. Biker in that one Monster Energy car making his pit stop. The 42 and the 4, I believe, coming out. Yes, they're coming out. Or are they? Nope, they're coming in. There's tongue punch in that 12. We saw him in the 24 or the 3. You know what? I'm not even going to say it because I don't remember and I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but that 12 car early on bouncing off somebody, and I believe he was caught. Man, my memory is expletive. It's shit. I'm just going to say that. My memory is shit. Here comes the 4 out. And you see that 14 of Pyle and the 6 of Silence. Seeing them, Pyle's going to try to get around him again. So clearly that first pit stall makes a difference. As the 14 had a few car links on that 6 when they came in. So we got Death leading, I believe. Hothead. Nope, Dark Knight has cycled back to the lead. So Death has made his pit stop. We missed that. And that, come to think of it. I'm trying to see if Pyle's going to get around this 6 soon. It seems like He's just being patient right now. I think he could close that gap if he wanted to. Or does he want to look outside? No, I think he's just getting some air on his nose. He's peeking. He's trying to get a run. Here's Maydale to the back bumper of that 8 car now. Battle for the lead. He's going to go inside, wasting no time. See the lap traffic of the 12 car ahead of him. Could come in. There was contact. They hold it together. Death would love to see them stay side by side. As you see him closing in. And that, it's almost like, kind of, can't compare anybody to Earnhardt, but it's, like I said, can't compare anybody to Earnhardt, but that black car, I like Death in the black, because whenever I see him coming in my mirror, I tell you what, I don't want to say it, because he might hear this, and I don't want to give any signs of weakness, but it's pretty intimidating. So with the black and gold like that coming in your mirror, I like it. Tell you what, that 12 car tongue punch doing a good job of holding his own in front of these leaders here. As Dale's going to make another look on the inside. It's hard to do with that lap car there because you don't want to get stuck behind him, and then, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think you know what I'm talking about. See, kind of like that. See, he almost didn't have room to clear him, and if 22 would have gotten stuck low there, well, the 8 might split that's just. And you see the 12 trying to get out of the way, got himself into the wall. But Dale has made that pass. Dark Knight is not going to give him any room to breathe here, at least not for now. 20 to go here in stage 1. Top 3 cars really separated, and we have a caution. There has been, I'd heard that a problem on the driver audio. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but somebody crashed, and it was more than one person, because we have a in-game caution here. So this will be a quicker one than last time. We're not going to have to watch them cycle around like they do. Not cycle around, but drive around like they do in manual. We're just going to go through our little wormhole here and pop out on the other side to go green once guys select what they want to do. I'm sure everybody would be pitting here. Can't imagine anybody staying out. Fresh tires make such a difference at this track. Once one guy pits, a second guy pits, then it's kind of just monkey see, monkey do. So here they come. Maydale and Death. Dark Knight lost the spot on that pit stop. Hot Nuts up to 4th. Believe he came in 5th. Or finished the green flag run 5th. And Pyle gonna make it 3 wide maybe? No, he couldn't get there. Almost looked like he was gonna split that 8, put him in the middle. 22 moves up to that high line. Protecting from the 5, a Death Before Dishonor who comes low in a 3. That 8 car is in a mess. The car wants to go forward, but it can't because he's blocked. Both lanes are blocked, and he's got guys all over him behind him trying to get around. So that is not a fun position. It's fun, but it's not the safest position to be in as a driver trying to protect that 3rd position. And you see the result almost. That 6 car almost got up into the wall. But he does defend it. Pyle lost some spots on that restart. Ooh, the 6 is running really high on these exits. I think he just clipped the wall a little bit. And the 8 under the 22 of Maydale. And he's going to take second. Oh, we got a wreck. The 12 spinning through the grass. Somebody else was through the grass. Biker is into the wall hard and spinning. Somebody else up into the wall. Is it Dunlap? It is Dunlap. And that is going to be another manual caution. Our 2nd manual of the night. 3rd caution altogether of the night. Not sure what started it, but it ended with cars sliding through the grass. And that 1 car looked like he got the wall pretty hard and was spinning on the top of the track. The eye of the storm back there. Really, the eye of the storm is the middle, but kind of like an actual storm. But guys in the back are the ones that get the worst damage from it. You know, obviously. Something happens in front of you. So more pit stops here. We'll see. It's been a little bit of a short run, only a few laps, so interesting. I don't think anybody's going to stay out. So that 5 car going to lead him down pit road. The 9 has spun. I don't know if he spun. Somebody said, did you spin? And I thought he said, yeah, but he's on pit road now and he's in line. He hasn't lost. Yeah, maybe just spun the tires coming in. Possible speeding penalty, though. I'll let you know. Looks like right sides for the 9. Interesting to see if anybody else takes that shot. And you see the 9 is out before anybody. An 8-second stop for Hot Nuts. Death before dishonor. Here comes the rest of the field. Death before dishonor, the 22. And you see the line of cars following along here with King Pile in that 14. I'm not going to jinx it, so I won't say it, but something is telling me, giving me a feeling about that 14 car. And like we said, Reverend Hot Nuts with those 2 tires, gonna lead them to green here. Interested to see how long he can hold that position, though. I think if guys are more aggressive, the more aggressive the restart, the easier it is to hold that lead, at least for a little while. Guys are patient, they get single file, they're not racy behind you. Might be easy to maybe get pushed up top and have those fresh tires just freight train by you, or yeah, it's just one scenario of what can happen. There's many ways guys can pass you. But here they go. The 9 and the 8 going to lead him. Stag in that 3 car. Maybe 2 tires for him. He's up to 4th. Haven't seen him in that top 5 all day. And here they go. Travesty is going to go in the grass. And then falls back in line before the corner. And the 1 car. Biker is hard on the wall again. Not sure what happened there. Could have been a result of that 24 getting in the grass and kind of... that dirt flies up and your instinct as a driver is to avoid it. Could be a product of that. Not sure if somebody in front of that 24 didn't get going, missed a gear or what, but he looked like he was just shot out of a cannon to that inside, and it seemed like the grass was the only thing that slowed him down. And you see those 2 tires maybe not working out as the 9 into the wall. They're full wide trying to save it, and here's the big one. The 6 gets the worst of it. Now the 9 is just as bad. Oh, and he gets smashed by the 1. And he's over. The 9's over. Flipping side over side. It looks like Pyle got caught in it. Oh, man, just the slightest. And what did I say? Right before the restart, those 2 tires, you get pushed up to that outside, and now you're kind of... once you get pushed to that outside at this track, and you got when you're in first at the front like that, man, I tell you, it is hard to control that car. It's hard to control, let alone try to be fast and maintain position, but to just not lose it and wreck when you're up on that outside with everybody on fresher tires. It is a hard thing to do, and we saw just the slightest bit of contact. This is what I say about it being a tight track. If you're going to run the high line, I've seen guys do it, but you have to do it a certain way. If you slide up in the middle of the corner out of that first 2.5 grooves or so on the bottom, the car's just going to want to go right up into the wall. And you see May Dale here is going to lead Death as we restart again. So 4 cautions early on in stage 1 here. 24, top 3 single file. 24 Travesty, trying to stake out his territory up here to the front. So a little bit of loosey-goosey there as the 5 goes up the track. And the 24 is going to try to get second from him. Man, these guys are sliding up into that, from that bottom line, and that's what's causing, it seems like, a lot of these problems. It's hard to keep it down there. But you gotta try to do it. Obviously. Ooh, the 12 a tongue punch. Has to have gotten his lap back by now. He's gonna he makes it 3 wide on the bottom, as you saw, and makes a nice move to get that machine into third. He's got the whole field behind him, though. Almost looks like that 12 car is leading a race at Daytona if you get rid of these 2 cars in front, the 22 and the 24. But the 22 now pulling away a little bit from this 24. In dark night. Trying to see where he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to ride that bottom and get back to where he has been most of this race. But right now it's that 22 Penske machine. Leading a crown jewel race. The Coke 600. That is really 300. But either way, he is leading it. Some contact in the back. Dunlap had to say my bad to somebody. Not sure what happened. Some laughter. Guys are having fun out there. Looks like Stagg has gotten up to third. I keep seeing him and thinking, I don't want to keep thinking to cycle through just to make sure that's him. Yeah, that's... Ooh, look at this. Dark Knight in the middle and just... Man. That was almost a problem there. The 8 ended up in the middle, and he was not giving it up, and he just ping-ponged off of the 14, and I'm not sure who the other car was. Might have been the 12. But either way, they get it sorted out, and look at Death Before Dishonor. He's dropped back a lot. We're not sure what happened to him, but he is back there, and he's going to have to make up some ground here. Plenty of time to do it, and if anybody can do it, it's him. Biker slides up the track there, as you saw, trying to get some clean air. Seemed like that bottom line was slowing, and he might actually make a pass here on the outside going into 3. He does. Wonder if some of these guys made adjustments and maybe over-adjusted a little. Now the tires, well, no, we kind of just went green. But, you know what? Yeah, I mean, maybe guys are thinking, hey, we're going to have a lot of short runs here. Maybe loosen the car up a bit if it's feeling tight. And now we have a caution. Oh, no, that's the end of the stage. So, stage 1 is over. Maydale has won it. Remember, this is a 4-stage. I shouldn't say remember because I have not pointed it out. This is a 4-stage race. It's the only race on the schedule that we go 4 stages in any series here in HDRS or in real NASCAR in real life. Obviously, in real life, it is 4 100-lap stages, or at least that's what it was last time I checked. Obviously less here since we're going 300 miles, not 600. So we're a quarter of the way through here at Charlotte. And I tell you what, hard to really figure out what's going to happen in this race. We've had races this year recently where you could kind of tell who had the fast cars. You know what? From what we've seen, there's a lot of guys that if they get that track position, can be tough to beat. But you also have those same guys that are, they haven't shown any signs of slowing down here tonight. They've been, you see the 8, the 5 has been more towards the back than we're used to seeing that last green flag run. But make no mistake, it's a long race, and I think that was more of circumstances and things happening around them than anything that has to do with their car, I would guess. Right now, that 24, though, Travesty, he's having an impressive run here. He wasn't really up. We saw him get involved in some trouble early on, and he never really got up there. But since he's gotten up there, he's holding that second position, and he's... I'm not going to say he's not up there like on the bumper of that 22, like, say, Dark Knight or Death or some other type of racing for the lead we've seen where guys are just kind of all over each other's bumper. But he's right there, and he's keeping him within arm's reach. And that 12 of Tongue Punch. Really, all 4 of these guys. Maydale, we've seen him making his way up since the beginning. Not surprising. Once he got there, he hasn't left. But that 24, the 3, and the 12. The 12, remember, was a lap down not too long ago. All those cautions. He's up there battling for the race, really. He's in 4th, and he's got a real shot at winning this thing at this point. Long way to go, though. Not to repeat myself, but it does bear repeating, I think. Death looks like he's starting to make up a little bit of ground since that last, since the stage break. Ooh, the 12's in the wall on the backstretch, and he just lost a lot of spots. I always jinx somebody. I guess if you're gonna talk about everyone, you're gonna jinx someone, because someone's gonna have an issue. But I always feel bad when I say good things about somebody, and then something bad happens. He just looked like he didn't get the wall too hard, but it just scrubbed off so much speed that he's back there. But he's worked his way up before. He can do it again. Wouldn't be surprised to see it. He has got a fast Penske hot rod there. And you see Pyle trying to hold off Biker and Dunlap, who are side by side. Seems like these three guys, we always see these guys battling side by side and bouncing off each other. They're keeping it clean here. But not that it's not clean the way they race, but it is fun to watch. These guys love to bounce off each other. They know each other well, and you see that 12 is... If I'm that 12, I'm not going to lie, I'd be a little nervous to mix it up with these three when they're so close together. I might just let it spread out here. But that's just me. See, I say stuff like that, and then when I get out there, I force things 3 wide and make dumb decisions. So, you know, it's a lot different when you're up here than when you're actually down there. These guys are putting on a show, though. I tell you what, I had the privilege of practicing with these Cup guys earlier in the week. And between that and the Xfinity race last night, Filski had made the comment, one of our Xfinity drivers, who very strong contender for the championship, Filski, in that, as you see the 12 going through the grass. I might have lost it there. Yep, the 12 has lost it going into the pits. He'll probably lose another lap or come close to it. So he seems to be having trouble with that car. Like I was saying, Filski had made the comment that towards the end of stage 2 in the Xfinity race that there were 2 groups out there. There were the fast guys, and then there were the Xfinity guys who were fast. But yeah, those Cup guys have just been on another level. I'm not sure where they're finding that speed that they're finding, but that's why they're in the Cup Series, and that's why they're battling and putting on these exciting shows we see, because they are on their own level. It is for sure. And that's what makes this so impressive. These guys that we're always talking about, the 8, the 5, the 22, just always dominating. It makes it very impressive. When you take a look at this whole field, a lot of super fast guys. And also, talking about impressive, I don't want to feel like I'm repeating myself a lot tonight, so I apologize. I'm only one person. I'm trying to fill the time. But that 24, he's lost some positions, but still, I mean, he's right up there with these guys. And you see Death has made his way in front of him, as well as that 8 of Dark Knight, which is not surprising. I think we sort of expected it at some point. The 3 of Stag a little loose back there. He's losing ground on this lead pack now. So maybe what we're seeing now is short run speed versus long run speed. So a lot of guys get up there because of cautions and whatnot and look fast. And not that they're not fast, but now that the tires are wearing, we're seeing those guys, as I keep saying it, the cream of the crop. It's kind of rising to the top there. But here's Travesty, and he's gaining on those guys. He looks a little loose, but loose is fast, and he's controlling it right now. So, and these 3 guys getting racy while Maydale just sort of slowly pulls away. You know what? My voice needs a break. I'm gonna I don't care. I know I'm not supposed to like steal from Fox or whatever, but let's crank it up. Let's crank up the volume on your TV. Just hear the sounds of racing for a little bit while I get a drink here and relax for a second. Get my bearings back under me. I cut my brake a little short because right when I switched to the 88, he runs into the back of the one. Every time I switch to these guys, they're running into each other. To be fair, I'm joking around and being playful. That was the first time we've seen them touch tonight. But it just seems like that there's a few guys that just love to beat and bang, and it's fun to watch, man. Here's going to give him, ooh, nice side draft there. Thought he might give him another tap. That's sort of like a secondary side draft there at the end there. Nice move by the 88. Tough to do that here, man. Like I said, these corners are so tight. It's not that the track is tight, it's that the groove is so tight. And it's slick, man. It's even when you're tight, I feel like it's slick. Like one little move and you just slide around and it can be a big problem. I think that's why we have these cautions that we've seen tonight. Battle for second here. Death before dishonor. On the back bumper of that 88. Travesty still sticking right there. So right now, so far this second stage, these four guys staying really tight to each other. And there's Pyle. Let's see where Pyle is. Pyle's got a little bit of work to do. He's back behind that 6 for the time being. Silenced, I feel like we haven't seen Silenced the 6 car race. Here come green flag pit stops. 24 is in. 6 was coming in, it looked like. Try to see who's that. Biker, I believe, is in. Yep, here's Biker with his pit stop. So second round of green flag pit stops here. Fun to see. Big fan of strategy and green flag pit stops. As is anyone, I think. So it looks like pretty much most of the field. The 8's still out. The 14 is still out. The 9, I believe, is... Okay, he's coming in. The 1 made his stop. The 21, not sure. Here's Canute. Let's give him some airtime. He does so much for us in these broadcasts. Appreciate him even more this week than any other week now that I don't have anyone. Nice paint scheme. I like that red. It's sort of... It's kind of... just barely not, I'm not a color person, but it's not really a red. It's a little bit on the maroon side, but just barely. I like it. It's a good, it seems like the type of scheme the Wood brothers would drive. Type of color. There's Stag. We saw him having a really strong run for a little there. See, maybe he's going to have to make some adjustments here. I would guess very slight adjustments, because he seems to have a good piece in that 3 car. He's going to come out with Pyle here. Take a look at their race off pit road. See how it plays out. I tell you what, if I'm Pyle, I'm getting frustrated that every time I come out of the pits, I just end up right behind that 6. Not that there's anything wrong with being behind the 6, but it's just, it's one of those things. You just end up behind, like that right there. I didn't even know who was going to end up behind, and then you see the 6 coming, and he falls in line right behind. It's better than coming in, and the guy that was in front of you is, you know, a half a lap ahead when things cycle through. You know, better than that, but it's just kind of a, for me at least, it's a mental thing. As you see, the 6 got the wall. That'll probably let the 14 get by here on those fresh tires. 3 might have a run on him here going in a 1. Maybe not. So a nice recovery there by Silenced in that 6 machine. And it looks like, okay, Maydale is the leader. I thought for a second Travesty might be, but he's second. Dark Knight, who we're watching here, is in 3rd. And Maydale is... Oh, wow. Maydale's got it. he did pit. Maybe he had to have pitted. He's got a 3.6 second lead on third. So he's got a 3.3 second lead on Travesty in second place right now. And you see that 21 of Canute is the lap car in between him and the 12. 12's gone a lap down again. Not another, but once again he's gone a lap down. I think Canute just caught the grass, and that's what that dirt was you saw flying around. Yeah, judging by the audio, I'm pretty sure that was Canute. The 9 and the 14. Seems like when things get strung out here, these are the guys that, seems like that 14 and that 9 have been together. As you see, the 14 gets the wall there. And there's Stag. Talk about maybe had to make some adjustments on that 3 car. He did have a strong showing and then looked to be a little loose or tight or something and fell through the field. But he's gotten around that 6 now and the 88. Well, I don't know if he had to get around the 88, but see the 21 here. He said he's slightly tight on entry. And he's going to go down. Sounds like he's considering just going down a quarter pound on one of those tires. Yeah, it looks like I thought he said the right rear, but I wasn't sure because before that he said he was tight on entry. But you could see he looks very loose off of 4. So it does seem like that he wants his crew to take a quarter pound out of that right rear. Another guy that seems to be having a little bit of trouble up these corners is that 12. He's got a fast car, but just seems to keep clipping that wall. And there's Travesty. Wonder what happened on... Or maybe not. Never mind. I was going to say wonder what happened on Travesty's pit stop, but he hasn't really lost much ground. He's back to third. He wasn't second. Dark Knight pulling away from him a little bit here as the top 3 are spreading out. Here comes the 21 for his pit stop. Well, he already did pit. So, maybe he did not pit because he's running out of gas. He's out of gas. He's going to make it a pit road here. Don't think he lost a ton of time when he ran out of gas, but regardless, the tenths of a second matter here, and I'm sure he lost some running out of fuel. Not sure exactly what was going on there. Just speaking for me, I don't want to speak for him. I have no idea what was going on, but sometimes when I'm preoccupied with having a really bad handling car, I'll forget stuff like that, like how much fuel I have. So, it actually has happened to me in the last few races I ran, so. Not saying that's what happened there, but interesting. He ran it all the way to the... It was sputtering. That 12. All over the back. Not all over, but sticking with that 8. I really think if that 12 a tongue punch can get his lap back, which I think he will if he keeps it clean from here on out and doesn't go down another lap. Well, obviously if he does that, he definitely will because we have 3 more stages to go, including this one. But, yeah, man, I think he's got a shot at a really strong finish here. If he can keep it clean the rest of the way out. And there's our leader, Maydale. Well, since about 5 minutes ago, when I said it was a 3.3 second lead to second place, Dark Knight has gained, well, Dark Knight has gained a lot more, but second place itself has now gained 3/10 on Maydale. So now it's only a 3-second lead. Just about, so 3/10, so he's got to do that, I don't even know how many more times, about 50 more times, and he'll catch him if it stays this way. But worth noting, I guess. These guys are pretty spread out, kind of hard to think of things to talk about. So, talk about stuff like that. Or I'll just shut up. I feel like I should just shut up. I'm talking a lot. So let's do another crank it up here. It's a 3 after this battle here. Because the 3 is trying hard to get around this 14 a pile. Stag trying to get himself a playoff spot. Remember, he's the first driver outside the cutoff. So he needs a strong finish. He'd like a win to lock himself in and not have to worry about what everybody else does. But he's going to need a strong finish here. If I remember, he's about 21 points out of the good. Try to look that up here real quick. He's gotten around pile, as you saw. 20 points coming into this race. Stag is out of the playoffs. So I'm not a mathematician or points expert, so I don't know what he's got to do to get in. But what he's doing right now, I think if he keeps, he's run a very solid race. And I think if he keeps it going the way he's going, he's got a good shot. He'd definitely like to make things work more in his favor, though, by getting a really strong finish here, or maybe even a win. A lot of time to do it. Worth noting, I don't want to jinx it, I probably will. Nobody's lagged out yet. We've had no DNF so far. And remember, we're only in stage 2, but it is a longer race. So we're at a point here where most of the attrition has been pretty... It's been a lot of attrition here. I mean, everybody's still running from what I can see. The 9's gotten around the 24. Maybe some adjustments with that 9 car get a little more speed out of it. We know he's fast. We've seen him up there for most of the first half of what has been this race so far. But, so remember, he took those 2 tires, got pushed up high, and got into some trouble and has had to work his way back up since then. And as I say that, I remember not too long ago, the 14 was right on his bumper, and the 14 is not there anymore. I think that was after the pit stops, but what happened to Pyle? I'm not sure how they got split up, but either the 9 has made a lot of ground, the 14 has lost a lot of ground, which doesn't look like it because he's, well, actually, yeah, the 14 and the 3 seem to have lost a lot of ground on that 6 car. Maybe the 6 hadn't pitted yet. I think he did, though. Don't want to speculate, but also I'm kind of thinking out loud, trying to figure out what's going on. You see Toon in the 4, Dark Knight in the 8 coming in for another round of green flag stops. Dunlap's in. Who was that we just saw? Was that the 22 coming out? Believe that was the 22 coming out off of pit road, so another round of green flag stops here in stage 2. And we'll see how it cycles through. Dark Knight is back out. There's Tongue Punch. Looks like he's signaling that he's coming in this lap. Or maybe he just got loose off the 2. Or both. We'll see. Let's see if he's coming in. Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to... Nope, he's staying out. Nice exit. Ooh, a little loose, but a decent exit off of 4. Here comes Stag, who came in as the leader. So I believe he got his bonus points for leading the lap. Like we said earlier, he's trying to get in. He's not in it right now. After this race, if things stay the same way, he is racing for nothing. He wants to change that. Get those 5 points leading the lap. You never know. It could make a big difference when we get down to the end here. Could be the difference, I should say. Hendrick's guys running here. 24 getting chased down by that 9. You know, sitting here talking about adjustments or guys making adjustments, that 9 car, Ribbon Hot Nuts, I'm not very familiar with, I'm not familiar at all with his driving style or his setups or anything like that. But I tell you what, from racing with him in the Xfinity Series for a few weeks now, and trucks here and there, he seems to really, I could be wrong, but from what I see, he seems to be a guy that really knows what he's doing on these pit stops. You see him, I notice him having strong runs but very mid-pack sometimes in the middle of the race, or opposite, maybe very fast and then the long run. But as the race progresses, he always seems to be making progress, and I wonder if he is just really good at adjusting that car on pit stops, because a lot of races he'll be up there for maybe the first half of the race, running around 6th, 7th, 8th, but then you get towards the end of the race and he's up there top 3. At least the last few weeks it seems like. And that 24 Travesty, trying to figure out what position he's in as we follow him along here in that Exalta, what is it, Sea Salt scheme, I believe it's called. I believe William Byron drove that in the 2020 Daytona 500, since it would have to be, since that's when this game came out. But yeah, so trying to see what position he's in here. He is in 3rd still. So you got Stag in 4th, Hot Nuts in 5th. I'm kind of going... Alright, let me just run down the top 5 here. Mayday will be with you. Dark Knight, Travesty Sun, Stag, and Hot Nuts. Your top 5 here at Charlotte with... I will tell you in a second how many laps to go. 4 to go here in Stage 2. So we're almost halfway through. That 9's gonna... I'm sure he wants that position from Stag. Remember, the 9's locked into the... Well, I don't think he's locked in, but he's pretty safe in his... as far as his playoff position. But that 3 is not going to give it up easy, I would assume. He needs those stage points. I don't know if he's going to have a choice here, though. He's not. As you see, the 9's cleared him. 6 scrapes the wall a little there. Here's our leader again, Maydale. Almost feel bad that we're not giving the leader as much airtime as he probably deserves, but I mean... he's not really racing right now. He's just kind of doing his thing. I wouldn't surprise if he's got maybe some AirPods in. One AirPod in so he can hear the guys talking if they got something to say, and then the other to just listen to his music and do his little Friday night drive. Just makes it he just makes it look easy out there. Dark Knight, though, he's not that far behind, and obviously we're coming to the end of the stage, so they're going to bunch back up here. Tires, Dark Knight's tires are definitely getting towards the end of their life as I watch his stream here, so could be an issue on maybe that 3 car getting, just an example, these closing laps here. You saw the 3 car get passed by the 9. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we aren't seeing, but ooh, see that there, that's our leader getting a little loose. That happens when you're behind a slow car like that. Toon does not want to give up that lap as we come down here, and I don't blame him. 22's got a big lead, and you'd see not the 22 doesn't seem to be pushing the issue. You see now it looks like either that was the end of the stage, or yeah, now that was the end of the stage, but the 4 really battling hard to keep his lap there as he should. There's times when you really should be moving out of the way and not getting in the leader's way, and then there's times like that, especially in a race of this magnitude going into the playoffs next week, where you know you're out there for a purpose. You got to run your race. And the 4 was definitely doing that there, and it paid off. He kept his lap. So just to go back, mentioned Hot Nuts. He is in 8th right now, so I believe he's pretty safe unless something catastrophic happens, like a DNF or something. But the thing is, there's only 2 drivers not. So there's 12 playoff spots available. There are 12 drivers, or there's 14 drivers in this race. 12, I believe, are eligible. So there's 2 guys who are not in the playoffs, who can't make it, who aren't going to make it because they didn't start the race. And then you have Visceral Killer is really close to the cut line, 11th. Travesty, by the way, he's right on that bubble. We haven't mentioned that. Travesty, brand new to the Cup Series. Just got that 24 ride a few weeks ago. Believe he started in the 41, his first race, as we go green here for Stage 3. Remember, Stage 3 of 4. There will be another stage. But that 24 of Travesty, only a couple weeks in, and he's got a real shot at the championship. And he's making, in my mind, he was a little aggressive, in my opinion. Not to, we've all done it. Certainly me. You know, I'm definitely not the most patient guy out there, so I don't like to, you know, be critical of guys. So I'm not trying to be critical. As you see, Dale up to second, and he's gonna, let's see if he even waits a while to try to make a move. The 9 slides up again. He seems to have trouble on these restarts keeping it on the bottom. It's this, if this is a track where if you really want to be tight in the beginning, in my opinion, for the most part. Beginning of a run. The 1 up into the slides up into the 9. That doesn't help the 9 stay on the bottom. So, yeah. The 9 falling back again, almost like deja vu from that that earlier restart in stage 1. The 24, what I was saying, yeah, he's got a chance for the championship here. And there's to finish off my thought, I feel like I'm rambling here a bit, but just to finish my thought, there are 2 guys who are in right now, not locked in, but they're in the playoffs who are not racing tonight. They did not start the race. So you have 2 guys who are not in it, Stag and Jared. I don't believe Jared. He's 61 points out of the cut line. I think he would need a win to get in. Stag's going to need a really strong finish. But, yeah, Visceral Killer can't really do anything. Not really. He can't do anything to defend. He's in 11th out of 12. And he did not start this race. So he's hoping for sort of destiny to kind of go his way here, as Travesty is the driver in 12th right now. So if the race ended, or if this race didn't happen and we went straight into the playoffs, Travesty would be a playoff driver. And he's driving like it now, and showing that he wants to be a force in this playoffs, and has a good shot at it. So the 22 is all over his bumper right now, though. And there's Pyle. I mentioned something. I'm not going to jinx it anymore, but I did mention something about that 14 car, and he's there in 4th place right now. A little bit of a gap between him and those 3, but see how it plays out here. He's trying to also build his own gap on the 3 as Travesty going for the lead. Got up a little bit into the 8, but no harm, no fouls. The 8 still has a decent corner. The 22's going to get around him as well, and there's Pyle right there. That lets him move into the mix. And the 3 and the 6, I believe, are also coming. Oh no, that's the 4 of Toon. Haven't talked much about Toon in that 4 Busch Light car. He's up in the top 5 now, or he's in 6th, trying to get into that top 5. And there's Maydale. I just see the 21 slow on the apron in 3 and 4. And Travesty losing a few positions here. Pyle's got 3rd. Travesty ended up on the high side. Not sure exactly what happened. He's going to stay there, though, as he's just got, I wouldn't say a freight train of cars, but I'm sure it feels like it for that 24 right now. And, ooh, Stag kind of cut his nose off. And the 24 hit the wall hard. That was, I mean, it. The 3 had him cleared, but it was a dicey move. It's a matter of inches. Really centimeters, I mean. It's more like milliseconds here. 1 millisecond off, and, you know, it's kind of just a racing incident. But, man, that really upset the 24 and put him in the wall. And he has dropped to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe 7th right now. Those 2 guys, Maydale, Dark Knight, the top 2. Not surprising there, but King Pyle is trying to split them up here. He wants to get that 2nd spot from the 8. But I'm sure he knows that 8 and that 22 are fast, so he's not going to press it here. He's going to buy his time. He's going to wait for the right time to make a move. Might even, if I'm at 14, I might want to help that 8 get by that 22 before I make any moves of my own, because tell you what, that 22's fast. I want him behind me, and if somebody can help me get him behind me, that's what I'd be looking to do. Is Pyle got loose off of 4 there and lost a lot of ground. Those 3 have gained a lot of ground though, so he's got a little bit of a cushion there. Death Before Dishonor makes a pass for 4th. Gets around Toon. Dunlap Little bit surprised. Dunlap was towards the back for a while, but he's making his way to the front there behind Stagg, who's in 5th right now. So Dunlap wants to get into that top 5 pretty soon. 4 all over the back bumper of that 5 as they go into 1. That's the thing about getting all over the back bumper of the guy in front of you is the next straightaway comes, and it seems like a lot of times when you do that, and you try not to force an issue, and you just push him. Next straightaway, it seems like the guy behind you is trying to make a pass on you, and the guy that you were pushing is just so much further in front of you. It's such a give and take game at these 1.5 miles, man. It looks like you just drive around and pass guys when you can, but that ain't what's going on out there. It's a lot of timing and thought that goes into the passes that these guys are making and when they make them, and it's really hard to pass in any series really when guys know what they're doing. When you talk about this HDRS Cup series, boy, it is, you really got to know what you're doing to pass when it's some of these guys, most of these guys. Look at this, almost like Talladega tandem racing back in 2000 whatever. Bumpers locked between these 4 guys for a while. Now Death is trying to pull away. Right with that second place car, Dark Knight. Following those footsteps of the 22. Right along with Dark Knight here for just a minute as I do another fake commercial. We'll be right back with HDRS Cup Racing. Here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as we welcome you back to NASCAR Cup racing in the Hammerdown Racing Series. So the 8 car of Dark Knight has made his pit stop and come out. Dunlap is the current leader. He's going to have to pit. Maydale has pitted. Death Before Dishonor has pitted. And Toon has pitted. Those are the top 5 led by Dunlap right now. But like I said, Dunlap will have to make his stop. And now he has made his stop, as you see the 88 of Dunlap merging on the backstretch. 21 of Canute. Not sure what happened with that 21 car. We had a lot of action going on the track, but we saw him for multiple laps down on the apron of 3 and 4, virtually at a stop. So not sure exactly what happened there. I heard him on the radio, and I hear him on the radio now. He seems to be struggling with that Wood Brothers machine. And he has said that something is going on there that has distracted him. So he's a little distracted right now. But doing a good job of filling in for that 21. You know, he's not a cup. I mean, not a regular cup guy, but you know what? Has stayed out of people's way, and he's doing a good job. Just dealing with the distractions, I guess. But yeah, so he had been stopped on the apron, and not sure what happened there. I'm interested. I would like to let any of our viewers who might be watching know what happened, but I apologize. I just was not able to keep track of everything that was going on there with that. 22, 8, 5, your top 3, as they blow by the camera here on the backstretch. Death Before Dishonor, we mentioned earlier. Into that 5 car, a switch from the 48 that he had been driving. Something about black and gold coming really fast in your mirror that just... It's a driver you don't like to say you're intimidated by anybody, but I wouldn't say intimidated, but it gets your attention. And he gets your attention no matter what car he's in. But that black and gold, I just like the effect it has. I don't know. Just look at it glistening in the lights. It's a sight to see, I think. 22 is starting to pull away again here. Thought for a second Dark Knight might have figured something out in order to keep him within arm's reach, but 22's trying to pull away again. He's got just under a second on the 8 of Dark Knight right now. He's at 9/10. Yeah, and it just seems like that 22. Now he's gained 2/10 in the last lap and a half, 2 laps. And the 5 is not helping that 8 car close the gap, because that 8 car is under a lot of pressure from that 5 right now, as you see. Almost had to look low there on him. Right along with Death Before Dishonor here as he works that back bumper of the 8 car. So let's another throttle here through 3 and 4. I'm not sure if it's my... Listen. It almost seems like they all are easing into it very slowly. But I'm not sure if the audio is just different when spectating the race, like we are here, than actually driving it. See, 1 and 2, it sounds about right. So... maybe something with these cup cars that I haven't figured out yet. or maybe even with all the Xfinity too, and I'm just really slow on picking things up. It seems like in 3 and 4 they're really easing back into that throttle. I mentioned it earlier with the 9-car Hot Nuts. That was when I first mentioned it. And then when we rode with Dark Knight, I noticed it, and now I'm noticing it again here with the 5. So it's not. It seems to be something that they're all doing. Might be something I have to put in the memory bank for the next time we come here. These cars do perform a lot stronger though than those Xfinity cars and trucks. There's just so much more. Oh, we see the 5 all over that back bumper. So they definitely drive differently is the point I'm trying to make, but see the leader Maydale coming up on a lap car here. I believe that would be Twoon. So oh no, that's the 9 car. Something is, oh no, I apologize. But it does, the 9's got heavy front end damage. Not sure what happened there. Somebody is, yep, that is Twoon. Or is it? Man, they really need to make this, well, they're not going to do anything. This game is, excuse my language, it's 3 years old, but when you click next driver, it should go to the next position. But it doesn't. Ooh, got a little race here. Let's get that. Let's take a look at our hammer down blimp coverage. 14, Pyle came down. He kept it out of the wall, but couldn't keep it out of the 3, and he's going to lose a spot there. Or an extra. He was going to lose a spot to the 88. Thought he might have had something for the 3 up there, but once the contact was made, he... Oh, death before dishonor, making another pit stop. So we might have 3 pit stops, if I'm not mistaken, in this stage 3. The 9 car, somebody on a pit crew just, like, somebody just got their legs amputated. Somebody's fighting for their life with brain damage. That, yeah, the 5 just drove right into the back of that 9, destroyed a bunch of pit crew members. But obviously, I don't think anybody's new to watching, but if anybody's new to watching, the stuff that happens on pit road is all computer simulation. It doesn't affect the car. It's kind of just a glitch is how we describe it. Once you get onto pit road, you don't have any control of the car, and that no damage or anything really affects you. It's just kind of the way it looks on the screen, but it kind of plays out as if it didn't happen, what you're seeing on the screen, if that makes sense. So here's death before dishonor again. After making his pit stop, got a lot of clean air in front of him, behind him. It almost looks like a qualifying lap. King Pyle. Fast car every week, lots of bad luck, lots of misfortune. And here, you know, I said early in the race I wasn't going to say anything, but I can't help it anymore. I really think we got another stage break here. That 14 car, I just got a feeling at this track, with it being such a pure racing track, if that makes sense. As you see, the 9 looked like he got under him there, maybe got loose coming off the corner and had to back out. Ooh, but now he's got him because the 14 hit the wall. Man, maybe I jinxed him again, but before I say anything, it seems like he keeps getting the wall, it seems like. Thought maybe he made some adjustments, but man, he's not alone. A lot of guys out here, really except for those top 3 or 4 guys, are having a lot of trouble throughout the runs here. As the runs go on, most cars, I feel like, are getting the wall a couple times. You know, there's guys who have short run stability where for a short run there's only a few guys that we notice getting out of shape. But the longer these runs go, it seems like pretty much everybody except those front runners start having issues with their car. And the 21 is entering the pits again. He had a problem. He is slow. Oh, almost a big problem. It was a mistake by the 21. He apologized, but I didn't see what happened until just now. The 21 was slow on the apron, coming to pit road, and he lost the control a little bit, came up on the track in front of the 9, and the 9 just was able to get by him on the high side. That was almost a disaster there, but luckily, no harm, no foul, as I love to say. 9 car right now, we've talked about him a lot this race. I haven't in a while, though. So we come around with 8 to go. He is 24 seconds out of the lead in 10th place, so I'm not sure if... Yeah, so maybe an issue that we had missed with that 9 car earlier, because we did see front end damage, heavy front end damage. At the time we saw it, I believe it had been repaired, and what we were seeing was just cosmetic because of the video game, how it works. But maybe whatever happened cost him a lot of ground and time. But yeah, see him here, he's behind the 21 again. I'd be nervous. No, I'm sorry, Canute. You know I love you, but I'd be nervous. Just almost ran to the back of the guy. Here I am. He comes out, and of course, I'm right behind him. But he gets around him pretty easily. Jarrett goes at least a lap down. Not sure if that was the first lap he lost, but Dark Knight, who's in second, has just cleared him. There's Travesty. Did I call Travesty? I might have called Travesty Tyson for some reason. Because I almost just called him Tyson right there. So I think I might have... If I accidentally called him Tyson for whatever, just kind of the way his name with all the T's and the Y's and the S's. I think I might have called him Tyson earlier. If I did, I apologize. But Travesty behind King Pile there. Can't really get an exact position. Everybody's so spread out. But yeah, that 24... really doing a good job in second for a while, and then we saw him, I believe he saw him get pushed to the high side, if I remember correctly. And like I said, man, that you get pushed to the high. We've talked about 2 guys that have gotten pushed to the high side. I have. I keep saying we. When I say we, I don't know. I mean, I guess I just mean me. But the 24 and the 9, 2 guys we saw get pushed to the high side on restarts, and then throughout the run, we've seen it's affected them. I think. From what I can tell from here, seems like it's affected them longer in the run. So you lose that ground in the beginning, especially with these I mean, this track, these cars are so much faster on those fresh tires. You lose that ground, hard to make up, and we're seeing that there. So we got one more stage break here. They get an extra life. One race for the playoffs is kind of fitting. You know, you get one extra life to kind of regroup, an extra break to regroup, get some adjustments in, and make your push to the finish. So, interesting to see what happens here. If these guys that have lost some time because of unfortunate circumstances, how they respond come this last stage. And again, I don't want to jinx it, but no DNF so far. Anybody who started this race is still out there competing. And that includes a guy like, not to almost feel bad even bringing this up, but a guy like 21 Canute filling in that 21 car, and he's not just going to give up. He's going to go out there. I believe he must be a few laps down at this point, at least. But you know what? It's his ride tonight. He's going to go out there. He's going to finish the job. Well, he's going to try to finish the job as best he can. Can't predict the future, but I mean, credit to him and a few of these guys. I'm sure there's a few that we haven't really seen that have really been struggling tonight, but are hanging in there, and they're racers. They're out there racing, regardless of the circumstances. So, love to see it. Love to see no DNFs. DNFs, I never used to lag out, but recently I'm sensitive to DNFs because I started lagging out a lot. So now I get how it feels, and it sucks. So it's nice to see nobody having that issue. We got the white flag here for stage 3, so we're coming down to it here. The 42 is, whew, he was like below the road course in the grass. Probably put it down as far as he could to stay out of the way. I mean, well, maybe not, because he came back up on the track. It looks like he went up to the wall. But man, he got low into that grass. That 42, Jared. It's spelled. I haven't really interacted with this 42, but it's spelled Jalad, but I've always heard it pronounced by my contemporaries here, Shady and Canute in the booth, Jared. So I'm assuming his name's Jared. Maybe he spells it a little differently as a, you know, I don't know the right term. I'm not smart enough, but it's obviously a gamer tag. It's his nickname or PlayStation name. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. We got Maydale in the lead, like he's been for a while now. Dark Knight in second, like he's been for a while now. Death of Its Honor is third. He's kind of been... For a while now, he's been up there in that top 5. But for a while, he wasn't. So, but since he's gotten back in that top 5, he's been steady up there. Fourth place, I missed as they scroll through here. I think it might be Twoon. Yeah, Twoon's 4th, Stag 5th, Dunlap 6th, Pile 7th, Sun, Travesty Sun 8th, Biker is 9th, and Hot Nuts rounds out the top 10 as we get started here for stage number 4. The only time you're going to hear that this year. This is it. This is where we find out who's got what, who's been able to figure it all out throughout this long race, and whether it's going to pay off. Maydale off to a good restart. Death got shoved, maybe, I don't know if he got, I don't want to say shoved, but ooh, man, that was, the 9's in the wall again, up top. He seems to just have real trouble on these restarts, keeping it out of that high lane, and they're, I don't know what's happening, but they're almost wrecking, and they're not. Dark Knight is losing a lot of spots right now. Biker looks like he's moving hard right now. He wants to get up to that front. While these guys, the 8, while these guys are having trouble, there's guys back there that are like, hey, this is my chance to capitalize. Little tap from the 8 to the 24. Twoon under the 5. Death Before Dishonor is stuck on the high side. We'll see how it works, how that plays out for him. I don't think it'll work out, but we'll see if he can limit. There's so many cars. Oh, the 1 gets put up into the wall by the 8. Came back down. 1 back up into the wall. That 8 car just... He's got a fast piece. He's one of the best out there, but on these restarts tonight, he has been a little wobbly. And do we have a caution? We do have a caution here. It's an in-game caution. We've seen that 8 car, man. He's got what it seems like once they get going, he's got so much speed. It seems like his car is just completely dialed in. I mean, you look at the 22 and you think it's not dialed, because 22 has just been dominant, like we've seen a lot this year. But that 8 car is really dialed in after a couple laps. But those first couple laps, he can't seem to keep it together. I mean, I don't want to be harsh, but maybe just a little loose. He needs the tires to get some heat in them. I'm not sure what it is with these restarts. He seems to be ping-ponging off people, and it's tough when you got a fast car and you need a lap to get going. You got a whole field around you that's not. They're not going to give you time to get going. So yeah, it just seems like that car is not built for these restarts right now, to be honest. And it's played out unfortunately for him and a couple other people, unfortunately, including that 1 car who the one got into the 42. I just get so nervous when I see contact and then a car go up to the wall. But look at this going into 3. Look at this cluster of cars here. Where's the leader? Come on. Fucking camera angles. Shit. Travesty. Believe he's got the lead. Yep, Travesty, and he's getting a gap. As these guys are so aggressive now that we're coming to the end, that if you get out in front right off the jump here, you can get a little bit of a gap right away. Look at this. We got to stay with these guys. The 14 into the 9. They hold it together for now. It looks like we're going to have two lines of 3. Nope, they kind of even it out. The 1 comes up into the 14. 14 holds it together. 1's going to clear. The 12 is in that mix. It looked like the 42 couldn't hang on to it anymore with all that dirty air and turbulence, and he ends up in the wall. The 21 is back there behind him. I think Canute is just kind of riding around here, just not wanting to. I don't think he wants any part of this at this point. And I don't blame him. cycle back to the leaders here if we can. Death Before Dishonor has gotten that lead from Travesty. And Stag, we talked about Stag. He was up there in the beginning. Now he's getting up there even more than he has been. Contact with the 24. They hold it together. He's got that low line, and he's going to clear him here as Death is going to try to use that just little bit of time with those guys side by side to pull away. Guy is so good. You get side by side for a little for second place. He is just going to pull away. Get side by side a lot. He's going to, well, really pull away. Yeah, that 3-car Stag. He wasn't there in the beginning, then he was there for a little bit. Then we got to the middle of the race, and it seemed like his car wasn't handling right. And remember I said when he was making that pit stop, we'll see if he can make some adjustments here, because I think if he gets it handling right, he's definitely got that speed. And we know he's out there going hard because he wants that playoff spot. Remember, I mentioned it earlier, Stag is not in the playoffs coming into this race. He is the first car out of that 12-car group. So he's going for that bubble, and the guy behind him, the 24, is the guy who's got that 12th spot in the bubble right now. But he might not be behind him for long because Dark Knight is going to go inside here, and guess who's right behind Dark Knight? That 22 of May Dale be with you. And Dale seems to always be with him because he's always in the front. Right now, 24 is holding him off, though. And I think part of what that might be for the time being is the 22 really putting pressure on that 8. If that 22 wasn't behind that 8, I think the 8 might have an easier time passing that 24. And now it kind of, just what I'm saying, now look, the 4 is now getting in the mix, and the 4's got the 9 with him and Dunlap with him. Travesty is doing a really good job fending off these runs from the high line, though. I tell you what. How many times have we said it with really fast cars that once they get in that high line, and see, I kind of jinxed them there. Ooh, nice driving by Toon. He kind of got sucked up into the middle, but I don't think there was any contact there. He didn't lose a ton of time, but he was able to kind of slide out of it and regroup. Good driving there by Toon in that 4 car. Maydale's still all over that back bumper, the 8, but look at these 2 leaders now pulling away. And look at Stag. He's going to go for the move now. He was inside, and he's got it. Stag has cleared Death into turn 1, and Stag to the lead. We saw him. He has led a lap earlier, I believe, but it was during pit stop cycles. Now he's cleared that 5, a fast car. Hey, you know, the fastest car we've seen, though, is that 22, and he's on the inside of the 8. So that 22 could be coming very shortly here. And the 5, not to take anything away from the 5, because the 5 hasn't lost any ground right now. Look at him. All over that back bumper of the 3 car. That 3 has got to do anything he can. Right now, it's kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, the other drivers might not like this if they're not the 3, but if you're that 3 car right now fighting for that playoff spot, you got the lead, you got to do whatever you can to keep that guy behind you. You might have to cut his nose off here. I'm not encouraging it, but man, this is what racing's about, man. Things are on the line here. We see these guys are always so exciting to watch, but tonight with the playoffs on the line, and that 5 is just really, it's so hard to drive when a guy's just all over you like that. He's got to pull out all the stops, that 3 car, to keep that 5 behind him. And that 22 is coming. And the 22, like I just said, he's been the class of the field. So if he gets there, now they both have an issue. 3 and the 5. And I think he will get there eventually, unless something happens here before he can. Hot Nuts back up to 4th back there. See him leading that kind of little second cluster of 3 cars. Toon is in 5th, and try to get a look here. Looks like Dunlap up to 6th. Oh no, Dark Knight is 4th. Alright, yeah, so I was 1 spot off. And here's Death for the lead, and he's got Dale pushing him. This is not what the 3 wanted to see. This is exactly the 3's worst nightmare right now. The 5 underneath him and the 22 pushing him. You got the second fastest car with the better line on you, and the fastest car pushing him. past you. And the next fastest car, who's kind of, I would say he's kind of even with the 5 so far tonight, is getting in the mix, and he's just going to stay in line with those fast cars. And the 3 is just hung out to, well, maybe not. The 5 went a little high there. The 3 is kind of hung out to dry right now. He's got nowhere to go right now. He's just trying to hold that high line as long as he can and not let the guys behind him get a run so that he gets freight trained, and he does a good job there. Nothing really that 3 car could do right there. Did the best he could. He's in 4th. I'm just guessing here. I think that's still a pretty decent position for him right now, considering who's behind him, because the top 3 are locked in. Top 3 are in the top 5 of points, so they're in. They didn't even need to start this race. The guys the 3 are battling. Everybody he's battling is behind him. The question is what position is enough for that 3 car to get those 20 points that he needs and prevent anybody from getting more to keep him from that 12th spot. That's the issue we don't know. But right now he is putting on an excellent effort right there in that 3 car, trying to get into the playoffs. Ooh, man, a little, dicey there. 22. Little contact with the left rear fender of that 5, and the 22 smartly backed off, lost some spot, but he's lost some ground, but he's got time to make that up. Now the 8 wants the lead. And 3 pushing that 8. Those RCR teammates trying to make something happen together. The 9 has pitted. Green flag pit stops have begun. Stag underneath that 8 car coming out of 4, and the 5's going to push him. For at least for this straightaway, he's trying to push him. 22's trying to get high. Oh, they're close. 3 sliding up a bit, but they hold on to it perfectly. Maybe some contact there in the 8. Oh, this is some great racing. The 22 got a little squirrely, hit the 3. 3 comes back up. 22 backs out of it. He knows he kind of lost it there and almost caused a problem. 22 is going to be right back in it, though. Now, he knows he can back out of it there because he's just going to come right back and get him. And now they finally lose it. And the 3 is the biggest victim. He's going to... Ooh, got clipped there. Man, that is... disappointing to see that for Stag in that 3. Just a mess up there for the lead. Stag he is disappointed, and I don't blame him. I'm not sure the 22 did anything wrong there. I said it a few. Oh, there's the bigger one. Another wreck. The 4. Oh, as they try. Oh, that might have been a result of guys pitting without saying anything, or somebody locking up the brakes when they all came to pit. I don't know, but we got a caution here. Oh man, this is gonna change things completely. That 22, he is, when you're really fast and you're faster than the guys around you, it upsets your car. And his car was upset that last lap and a half, 2 laps. And I don't think he necessarily did anything wrong. But I don't think the 3 is not, he hasn't said anything specifically. I guess now I have to clarify. There were a lot of sighs out of the 3's microphone. I can't blame him, man. I mean, that's a tough deal for that 3 car. But now he's got to just forget it. I mean, it's tough to do, because now you go from battling for the lead, 1, 2, 3, you're in the 4th row. He's starting 8th. Here we go. We got 20 to go, I believe. Around there. The 5's going to lead into the start. He's going to be clear. Going in a 1. The 22 is under the 8, and exactly 20 laps to go. Stag falling back off of the restart. Not a lot, but he lost spots that he really wanted and kind of needed to gain right there, because we're coming down to the end. The 5, the 8, the 22. And Travis, the son. Remember we said those short runs. It's not a short run, but would not be surprised to see another caution and it's not necessarily a long run. So keep that. Look at him. He's in 4th, and he's got somebody pushing him there. I think circumstances. Pile trying to push that 24 there, as we saw a few seconds ago. He's going to have circumstances work perfectly, and he's going to have to take advantage of every opportunity he can in order to get to the front here without any mistakes, because I just don't think his car is as fast as those guys. But he's proven that he can get up there. The other thing, though, to keep in mind, coming into this race, he's on the bubble, but he's in. So you don't want to wreck yourself and knock yourself out of the playoffs trying to get that win. But you also, like I said, I don't know the mathematics of it. I don't know if 4th place, well, he's in front of her. So yeah, right now he should be good to go. I believe him and the 3 have both led a lap, so that would offset. So I think if he holds it right here, Travesty would probably be in. But then, stage points come in. Who got many stage? So let's not. I'm not going to. What is the word? I'm having a brain freeze. But anyway, we got the 8. Trying to get underneath that 5. He can't. He got sheet metal banging in my ear. Somebody made big contact. The 9 got into the grass. The 9 is falling back to 12th right now. I don't know what happened. I just caught his stream and saw him in the grass after hearing contact. So the 9 car, yeah, looked like he would have had a strong run. Again, he should be pretty safe for the playoffs. He came in 8th, so he can live to fight another day. But right now, we got the 8 trying to take that lead from the 5, and the 5 this is a battle right here. It's fun to watch. The 22 is right there. He wants to take advantage. And you just see that speed difference between those top 3 cars. And then the 24 is like he's right there, but just not quite. Silenced has moved up to 5th, trying to get a top 5 for himself. He's had, I don't know if I haven't really seen much of his race. Possibly a frustrated race. He's been sort of in the middle of the pack. Hasn't been in the back, hasn't had a lot of trouble, but we've seen him scraping the wall and kind of riding around in 6th to 10th spot or so from what I remember. Here he is at the end, up there in the top 5. A guy we always see finishing these races strong and having consistent runs, once again in that top 5. These 3 guys, though, in the front, I don't even know what to say. They're all over each other, nose to tail. Now we got a little bit to go. We're going to take one more fake commercial break because I need to use the restroom. And I'll be right back. As we see, maybe not. I'm going to wait a second here. The 8's underneath the 5 for the lead. And they're side by side behind him for 3rd, which is a big break for these 2. Because if they were still single file, that 22 would have gotten up there. I missed how they kind of ended up like that, but the 8 has cleared the 5, and we'll be right back as Dark Knight leads here at Charlotte. Alright, back here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dark Knight continuing to lead the 5, but nothing much has changed. His 5 is all over that bumper, as you've seen, as we went a little broadcast silent there and just let you watch it and hear the sounds of your own. This fake crowd making a lot of noise as we come to the end of the Coke 600 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. These two cars, these guys, since we left, before was a 22 side by side with 24. 24 has lost 2 spots now. Now it's the 24 side by side. But the point is, the 22 is side by side for third place with Silence right now, but the point is they're side by side, and these two guys are just pulling away. And right now, unless we get a caution, it looks like this is the race right here, folks. However, we've said it so many times, this is the cutoff race, so this is the race for the race, but gonna do my best to, while not losing track of this, to try to find out what's going on with the guys who are sort of on the bubble, so to speak, or the cusp, so to speak, as far as making the playoffs. This 5 car, just those 3 guys, man, all race every week. We see these. How many times we see the 8, 5, 22? How many times do we say, oh, all over the back bumper? A combination of those numbers. Just these guys are so evenly matched, and yet so much faster than everybody else. It is really impressive. And you know, it's one thing when you get a few guys that are dominant, and some are better than others within that tiny group at certain tracks. So you get these long, dominating races where guys are spread out. But man, these guys are just, doesn't matter the type of track, doesn't matter the length of the race. We just see these guys battling and putting on a show within the show, all the way until the end, and it is just so impressive. 22 has now cleared that whole 2x2 thing that was going on, so they're single file here. 22 looks like there was a pass, oh maybe not. 22, 24, and the 6 round out the top 5 behind those 2 leaders of Death and Dark Knight, Dark Knight being the leader. King Pyle, I believe, is riding in 6th. Nope. Now it looks like he's battling for 7th. Yep. Dunlap 6th. Pyle looking for 7th from Twoon. Twoon, let me see where he is. Twoon is locked in. I've only been with HDRS for a few months, so I didn't see the first part of the season. So I haven't. I feel like Twoon has. We've talked about it. We haven't talked about it, but we've alluded to it. Twoon's missed a few races for very legitimate reasons. So, unfortunately, I did have a little bit of a lapse of judgment there, thinking that Twoon might be kind of racing for something. But he is certainly locked in officially as he works on that 88. Stag is right behind him. So, Stag going from battling for the lead to kind of getting the bad side of just a really unfortunate, chaotic racing incident, and it might cost him his season. I mean, not to sound dramatic, but it might. It seems like the way it's going, so I got a feel for him. But right now, we still got a race here. The 8 still leading that 5. It's got the gap a little bit now. Got about a car length and a half, maybe. And then it's 2 3/10 to third place Maydale, as you see. They're already 3/4 down the straightaway as Dale halfway down the straightaway as Dale comes off at 2. Get a lap count here as we come around. Two to go. At Charlotte, cutoff race. Dark Knight, Death Before Dishonor. They're the race right now. Behind them is Maydale, the 24 Travesty, and the 6 of Silence. They're kind of spread out. But they are together in a group, and something can happen between them. Other than that, I would cycle around to see what Stag and others are doing, but we don't know either way. We're going to have the calculations as you've seen. Is that the race? That is the race. I was a lap behind, and Dark Knight has won the Coke 600. Death Before Dishonor is 2nd. Maydale 3rd. He had a stage win. Travesty Son 4th. Mr. Twoon 5th. Silence 6th. So Silence lost that top 5 to Twoon, who made that charge at the end. Dunlap 7th. King Pyle 8th. Jared with a nice 9th place finish. We saw him in some trouble early, but battled back for a top 10. And Stag, with, I would have to say, a disappointing 10th place from where he was and what happened. But boy, was that exciting, and just, I mean, from where I'm sitting, that was just everything that you could have hoped it would be for a cutoff race. A lot of storylines in that race, a lot of issues, but just, like always, just really good, hard racing. There was drama, but it was good drama, and, you know, that's why we tune in to watch these Cup guys. I will try to get some invites out to Dark Knight, and this is the first time I'm going to have to lead interviews, so I don't know how the frick I'm going to do, but I'll do my best to ask him the questions here, the good questions that all you fans want the answers to. I'm just kidding. Let me see if I can get these guys in here. Give me 1 second. We're going to take another fake commercial break. Here's a silent ad from our sponsors. Dark Knight, Death Before Dishonor. Those are your top two. Made Dale in third. What else is new? But, boy, I think there might be some broken hearts tonight. We saw some guys that were just had the chance to be up there racing in the playoffs. I'm not going to say that we saw guys. I'm sure there's other storylines that I wasn't able to pick up. But I tell you what, that 3-car Stag, he was there. He was making a run for it. It looked like he had that playoff spot kind of locked in, and just circumstances. Remember, the 22 got into him. 22 was really trying to get around those front 3 cars, and everybody in those top 4 or 5 was side by side, and he was just trying to get through, and we saw him kind of letting out the throttle when things got a little dicey, but eventually he just wasn't able to hold on to it with that fast car and that dirty air and traffic, and ended up just getting into the 3, and that sent the 3 into the wall, and kind of, from what we assume, ended his playoff hope. So a really tough break for Stag in that 3 car. So the playoffs are next week. I don't know if we're going to get in the interviews here. It doesn't look like it. Yeah. So tonight's winner, Dark Knight, 27-1974 to be exact, in that 8 car. Coming home with the win here in a crown jewel race, the Cup Series at Charlotte, the quote-unquote 600, Coke 600. Really 300 miles, but same effect, longest race of the year, the last race before the playoffs, and the playoff field will be set, it looks like. There shouldn't be much change to the playoff standings as we move forward here, but could be. So we are not going to make anything official right now. I will just leave you guys with what we saw, and it was a great race, a long race, but very entertaining. The guys that usually show up showed up, and then the guys that I just want to give a lot of credit to Stag. Guy needed to show. We see him have strong races week in, week out, but with all due respect, we have not really seen him battle the way he did with those top guys of Death Before Dishonor, Dark Knight, Maydale. I mean, he really was up there, and he was doing everything he could to stay up there once he got there, and he needed to. And it was just I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of tough to watch him. Well, we're gonna get him actually before we go. We're gonna get him. Maybe I need to invite people. So let's not let's not get ahead of ourselves. We might have some interviews here. We got Stag is available for interview. And we're just going to take another, I'm going to take another fake commercial break here to get this figured out. And the interviews, we're going to have at least one interview, I think, coming up right around the corner. So just stay tuned for about 30 seconds. Hey, Dark, you got me? Oh, I don't see Stag. Huh. Oh, there we go. We got Stag in here joining up now, it looks like. Hey, you got a copy there, Stag? What's going on, man? Hey, I appreciate you joining us. A little bit of technical difficulties here, so doesn't look like I'm going to get any other guys in for tonight. But definitely, you're the guy I want to talk to because, I mean, you had to. This was your season here, really. And what a strong performance it was, man. I mean, I said at the end of the race there, I try not to be biased, but it was I felt bad seeing you getting, kind of get caught up there at the end and fall back. So just, as I said, I tried to make it clear for the broadcast, if anyone's actually watching, that, I don't know the mathematics behind it, but I know that's definitely not where you wanted to end up, especially with the strong run you put on. Just if you could tell us how you felt out there and just give us your thoughts, it'd be great. Yeah, yeah. From what I saw here, like you said, as far as mathematically, really kind of hard to figure out because Travesty in the 24 he was the 12th place car coming into the race, and you were 13th, 20 points out. Now, you finished behind the 24, so that kind of makes me think that it's going to be tough. But you did also, I think, now stage points coming. That's why I don't even want to get into it. But the point was, I mean, when you were up there, when you got up there to you were there in the beginning for a little bit. You weren't all the way up there, but I think you were third or fourth. And it was clear you had a fast car. And then it seemed like as the run went on, it seemed like you kind of had a little handling issues, like a lot of guys did. But then, like, when we got a little bit past the middle of the race, it seemed like you really got it dialed in, made the adjustments you needed to, and, I mean, you were just right up there with the cream of the crop of the field, as I like to say, and just really putting on a show. You were keeping that 5 car behind you, doing everything you had to do, and it was really fun to watch, and I was pulling for you, man. It was exciting. It was kind of like, to me, watching, you know, there was an exciting race, but there was also, the more excitement was seeing you trying to make and the 24 too, not take any away from Travesty. He did a great job getting up there to the front, same way you did, but yeah, and it just seemed like there was nothing you could do at that point. You were just kind of caught in that storm there of fast cars, but yeah, anything, I don't really, this is my first time doing the interview thing, so I'm doing the best I can. I don't really know if that's a question. That's more of a statement, but, yeah, anything you want to add before we go off the air here? It was a really strong showing, man, and I was disappointed to see it end the way it did for you. Well, he didn't race tonight. He had a fill-in tonight. So he didn't even start the race. Yeah, so, okay. You also led a lap, I believe. I don't know, what are do you know the bonus points for leading a lap? Are there? There's not bonus points? Okay, so then I messed that up in the broadcast. You got a chance, man. Now that you say that, and that was something, I was trying to keep it very basic as far as the guys we have racing. And so as far as that goes, it was you and the 24, and you finished behind the 24. But I also had mentioned to the broadcast, I mean, we got the guy in 11th, like you said, the 12 Visceral Killer. He's not racing, so all that comes into effect. So definitely don't want to jump to conclusions here, but really, really was pulling for you there when you got up there. And it seemed like it had nothing to do with anything you were doing. It was just the circumstances kind of took you out of it. But I'd really, you got a fast hot rod there, and you know, I think everybody would like to see that 3 racing in the playoffs. So appreciate you coming and joining us. I apologize for the delay in trying to get it all situated here. Like I said, my first time, but you know, it's hell of a show, man. Good job out there, and looking forward to seeing you go out there again, and hopefully for a championship maybe here. Alright, sounds good, man. Ooh, man, we're going off the air, and I decided to hit my vape right before we go off the air. Can't just wait 30 seconds. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much, Stag, and thank you everyone for watching. This has been a presentation of the Hammer Down Racing Series here on Niz Racing NY. We got the playoffs coming. Talladega next week. Be sure to be here. It should be fun. So until then, take care, everybody.